my phone has been on the fritz. It doesn't work well. It doesn't have any storage. I have a vlogging camera that I'm terrified to learn how to use. So that's going to be my challenge coming up, is teaching myself to use this thing. And also to edit things on my laptop, which I also don't use. I have a laptop. I've had it since 2020. Don't use it. Don't know how. Like, I mean, I know like basic stuff, but honestly, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I am techno resistant, I guess. I don't know. I didn't have to take technology in high school. I took sewing and art and photography, and it wasn't digital photography. It was on film. So that's where I am in life. Anyways, welcome back to KK Cabaret, where we talk all things beauty, vintage, lifestyle, sewing, hobbies, and whatnot. Today, we are doing a wrap dress wrap up. I made 4 versions of Gertie's wrap dress. It's called the Hollywood dress. I made 4 versions of it. And so I wanted to, and 2 of them are kind of self-drafted, like off of that, like self-altered off of that or something, shall I say. I wanted to show them off, show you how it went. And I also wanted to do like some heatless hairstyles that are vintage that I'm like, I do daily, or like if I'm going to work, they're easier than having my hair up in rollers all the time. Can we just, I figured out that would add to my video instead of just showing you the things that I've made. Can we just like look at how long my hair has gotten? Look at how long. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was probably last year or maybe in the beginning of this year. I can't remember. I like chopped it. I think it was last year. I chopped it like here. And I've just been like taking care of it, not bleaching. I've just been doing a high lift. And it's not like it could use a trim, but look. Look at that. Oh my God. Anyways, so my first look is a wrap skirt, and I figured I would do a turban, like a 1940s turban look, to go with this outfit. I have different shoes. I don't think I'm going to do different jewelry for 2 of the outfits, but yeah, I'm excited. So when I'm doing this kind of a turban, I always do like a center part, right? And I try to pull everything back into like a tight little twisty. Watch, I'll show you the back in a second. Like this, okay? And I pull it up like up to here. Sorry, I have a toddler and she's interrupting every so often. But anyways, I take pins and I pin it into that little tight roll twisty thing. Because the thing is, like, you kind of want it to look as flat as possible. If you have a lot of hair, you can separate it. Like when I had more hair before I had my baby, I could separate it in 2 and make 2 twisties. That would thin it out a little bit. So I have these scarves. They are kind of stretchy. I think they're like jersey material, like, you know, cotton jersey, or, you know, t-shirt material sort of, or modal. Anyways, I take this and kind of like, it's kind of folded, and I drape it over like so, and I tie it in a knot. I've done a video on how I do turbans. I think I've done like several different turbans in that video. So I kind of like tuck in that piece, and then I want like, we'll work on that in a second. I like my center part to kind of show, sort of. It's not, it didn't come out the best, like for the center part, but that's okay. So these parts are the or we get a little bit crazy, okay? So you're gonna twist, I'm twisting this one towards my left hand. And twist, 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 twist. And then you're gonna twist this one towards your right hand. Then we're gonna kind of pull those tight and then we're gonna twist them together. They kind of end up going somewhat together. There we go. See that little twisty there? It's kind of the goal. And then I take it and tie it around like that. Literally just start tucking little pieces under. It's like a bun, you know, when you do like a wrap bun. It's kind of like that, but you want the knots to show. You want the twists and the knots to show. It's my favorite part of it. And then I kind of like tuck all of these little pieces way under here. And kind of adjust your turban. I adjust like my hair underneath because I like a little bit of hair showing. There's your turban, super tight. And we are ready for our hair. I will go add jewelry and then we will show off the skirt. Okay, here it is, my wrap skirt. I used the Gertie pattern from Patreon, the Hollywood dress. She has a waistband in there so that you can make it into a skirt. I curved the hem and added a ruffle to it. So it does make it a little longer, but I actually really, really like it. Okay, time for look number 2. And you could already kind of see what the dress looks like, well, the pattern at least, but I want to add like a hair flower. I'm gonna go very like tiki, but this is gonna be simple, like I said, no heat, no anything. And plus later on I really want to put my hair in rollers for this week, so I am not trying to put a lot of product in my hair right now because later I'll be putting it in rollers. So I'm gonna take like this little, maybe that much, this little horseshoe area, and I'm gonna pull it around like that. And this section of hair like that, I'm gonna take just a little bit of water and I'm gonna make like a pin curl. I do this often when I'm not trying to do a lot with my hair that day. This little pin curl under a headscarf or whatever, it really like gives like a faux bang look, or I don't know, to me it's just really retro and really cute. I've always done it as like a quick and easy style. I used to do, if you really were bored and you wanted to scroll my Instagram, I used to do heatless hairstyles all the time that were very retro, very like pin curly. Okay, next, since we're going like 1940s, I kind of like part my hair like that, right? I do another twist and I kind of push up, okay? And I pin it. To where it looks like a little bit of a faux victory roll. And I'm like, I know words are hard. And then I do the same thing on the other side. Kind of twist it. No, wait. See, I'm always like so confused when I do it on the other side. Okay, let's do it this way. There we go. Much better. Looking in the mirror, looking in a camera, and using hands is all a very difficult task.
And it's me.
Oh, that's my toddler. Shh, shh, shh. Okay. And we kind of bump that up. And we're gonna do like a little bit of a comb out. It's okay. Oh, I knew that was gonna happen. Only from underneath. Don't brush above it. I'm having straight hair. And I know 1940s was very not straight, very curly, but we're just doing like simple looks, right? And I wanted to show you how easy it is. Like if you're running out of the house and you still want to look vintage or you still want to look cute, it's totally possible. Okay, since that's the side least wanting to work with me, that's the side we're kind of gonna put this hair flower on. Let's see. It's a little hair flower. And push up into that little hairstyle. And I think that's good, but I just want to keep it like locked in place. There. And then you can kind of like adjust. All right, I already changed jewelry. Let me put like a corally colored lip on and I'll be right back. All right, my next rendition of the Hollywood dress. This is the day dress. I used a rayon. It is super fun. Honestly, I live in Southern California, so this dress is going to get a lot of use. It was comfy and cool, and I absolutely love it. Okay, next look. Now this one's a little bit more glamorous than the last two. The last two I feel were more like tiki and very casual. The blue dress can definitely be worn as a day dress. That's why I made it. This one is like the full glam look. So I wanted to do like a 1930s faux bob. It would have to be a faux bob considering this. So I actually have, oh no, that's a broken one. Give me one moment. Okay, so I have a little hair tie, and we're gonna leave this little part that kind of self-curled out. And we're gonna brush everything else back. Into a ponytail. And we're gonna, if you can see, all those little ends are what we're gonna tie into the ponytail. What did I just have that little, I think I just flicked that little rubber band away. Oh no, it's right there. My eyes aren't the best anymore. God, everything I'm complaining about is just like I'm getting old. Anyways. So we kind of want to make sure all these little pieces are in that little rubber band. Okay. So this is the next part. It's a little bit hard for me to like, I know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to show you. But you could either flip this in and do it that way, like this. Like, that would be more 40s, like a French roll, or not a French roll. But I'm going to tuck all this under like that, okay? And then I'm going to pin it underneath that little like tunnel we've created. Hair in my face. Okay. Oh my god, that hair is like getting in my face. So now we are kind of gonna go in and I'm not hairspraying, remember? But I actually like the way it looks, like it's already. So then we're just gonna kind of create a little faux finger wave here. We'll see how I could tuck these little bobbies in. That wasn't bad. And then that, we kind of want it to fall under or fall with it like that. See how easy that is? Like, and it's giving like 1930s. So this little hair right here is bugging me, but you can always tuck it under and just kind of pin it up and back.
What are you doing?
Sorry, that was toddler voice. Okay, so now we have this like vintage faux bob, and it was super easy. Watch. I think it's gonna work for the look. Just wait and see. I'm gonna change up the lippy and some jewelry, and we're gonna get into it. Okay, this is the dress I had cut out back when I was in the pinup contest, and it was going to be my winner's dress. If I won a title, I was going to wear this dress to the day where the winners strutted their stuff, I guess. But I didn't end up finishing the dress, and I didn't end up winning the contest, so I still wanted to sew it up. I feel like she's a holiday glam dress. What do you think? Okay, last dress, and it will be a wrap on wrap dresses. This is what I've been doing for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I got like obsessed once I finished my fancy Hollywood dress, and then I immediately finished that one, immediately cut out the day dress. After I finished the day dress, I had like spare fabric I was trying to save for a blouse. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try the skirt. It was in my head. I had seen something similar on someone on Instagram, and that's why I wanted to do that one in particular, the skirt with the ruffles. And then this was off of a screenshot again, off of Instagram. Someone had posted it, and I was like, I want that dress. It is 1940s goodness. I need it. I know I can make it. And I've just done 3 wrap items, 3 wrap dress styles, and I'm going to make this happen. So this, I am so proud of myself. I'm very proud of myself for this one. So let's do some 1940s hair. Again, it's just going to be like a water style. I don't know if I've ever shown you guys like hair rats. I'm thinking I'm going to use this one. We'll see. This one's smaller. I have less hair nowadays. Let's see. Although I feel like it's kind of coming back. It's coming back. I've been doing like a lot of micro or dermal rolling. I don't know. I'm testing everything. I will let you guys know in 6 months if it worked, because that's how long you have to test things for when it comes to like hair growth. I've also been taking iron supplements and collagen supplements. Okay, so we're gonna make a horseshoe again. A horseshoe section. This time it's going to be a little bit bigger, okay? Because we're going to do like a bumper bang, and a dramatic bumper bang at that. Okay. And usually I would not suggest to do this without pomade. So if you need pomade and you want this hairstyle to last you all day, then use it. But like I said, I'm going to end up putting my hair in rollers in a little bit. So I'm not doing that. I am going to go with the bigger roller. I'm just going to test it out and see if I can get good coverage from it. Now that I have longer hair, will it work? So I wrap my hair around it, and slowly I just start kind of spreading the hair out. See? And then I use my wet hand to just guide all the stray hairs in. Sorry, I always get so quiet when I'm talking about this part of the hair. Okay. So that's our little bumper. And I always do like that little tight roll like that. I hold it with that finger. I'm gonna go in and pin it like several times because I swear these things like never fully stay in one place for me. So I'm going one way, like across, and then I'm going inward. Okay, so it should look a little bit like this. It's a little bit crazy. So you kind of like guide your hair out. You can wet your hands or add pomade to your fingers if you're doing like a style like that, okay? And it's okay if that happens, like a little bit of a loose hair, because I'm gonna show you how I'm actually finishing this style anyway. So you get another pin and you kind of pin all those little stray hairs that went out like that, okay? And I'm gonna get those little stray hairs that went out and pin it under, okay? And I'm gonna need more bobby pins. Give me 1 second. Okay, I got more bobby pins. So this one isn't like a 5 bobby pinner hairstyle. When you're doing victory rolls and bumper bangs, you need a lot of support, especially if you're not using hairspray or anything like that. I'm not. So I'm gonna attempt. We'll see if I like it. I used to do this again when I had more hair. Before I had, like when I had my baby, my most recent baby, my hair went all to poop. It went all bye-bye with stress and postpartum. So I'm gonna wet my hands again. I'm just gonna form a roll. This is how I usually form my rolls. Like I just wet my fingers. Even when I'm doing it, like I never use pomade on this part. I use it on the outer part, like not on the inner part. Okay, so did you see how I rolled it up into the back of the foam? That's exactly what I want. And I'm kind of going to marry those two parts, okay? Kayla, how are you gonna keep it that way? Well, let's find out because I'm not teasing my hair today either. So I'm going from behind it and I'm gonna pin it in. Like that. And then I'm gonna kind of form that over that. Now, why am I doing it like this? Well, in the picture, in the original picture, she has a giant sun hat that is so cute. And I want to recreate that look. This would work a lot better if I had like actual little hairpins. But that's kind of the look I'm going for. All right, here we go again on this side. Remember, I'm a little bit not ambidextrous. I guess I am a little bit when it comes to hair, but anyways, brush it up. Don't judge me for my sparseness. Okay, wet your hair. Oh my God, I haven't done this look in, oh my God, so many years. And you're gonna kind of wet it. So many years. I look like young Kayla. Like I haven't done this since probably 2018, 4th of July. I'll find a picture. And if I can, I'll put it right here. So another roll, and we kind of tuck it in behind that one. I was able to marry the other one a little bit better, but that's okay. I'm actually gonna try to okay. Actually, I think maybe this one came out a little bit better. Actually, not bad, not bad. Look, guys, that was with water. So I do have like You know where your hair just usually gaps right there? That's the only part that kind of bugs me. But I would usually hairspray this. I'm just kind of wetting it. Then I wanted to do that other, oh no. I was just talking and I wasn't even recording. At least it didn't cut off like most of this part. This part was the hard part. All I did in the back was I pulled a ponytail like we did for the faux bob and I rolled it upward instead for like that little roll, like a 1940s roll, because we're gonna wear a hat. And this is what that ended up looking like. And we pinned it. So I did the little rubber band, pinned it up. This is our finished look. Let's go check out our amazing, in my opinion, dress. And this is it, guys. The reason I started sewing back in the day in high school. I wanted to be able to recreate things I saw in the black and white movies I loved just for me, in my size. And guys, I couldn't be prouder of this dress. I'm literally obsessed with it and the way that it came out, the way that it fits, the way that it looks exactly like the picture. I am so in love. What do you guys think? Editing Kayla here, super messy and crazy, but I just realized I lost some footage that I thought I was recording and I obviously wasn't recording, and it was about my scalloped edge. So I wanted to show you how I did it at least, but we're gonna like pretend. So I made a parchment paper scallop template with a coffee mug. You can kind of see, like, maybe you can't, but I drew it out of a coffee mug. I cut it and then I put it on. We're just gonna use some scrap fabric here that I have. We'll use this one. It's small. Oh, it will prove a point. So we're gonna flip the camera around and I'm gonna show you how I pinned this on and kind of directionally show you how I sewed it since I lost that footage. I apologize. Excuse the messiness. Let's get to that. Okay, so first I'm gonna show you, this is the fabric. We're gonna pretend we're sewing this scalloped edge on. You get your paper template and you're pinning down onto the fabric, like onto your edge. And what you would ideally have, I mean, you could probably do this for anything, but that this one side is interfaced and one side is not. You're sealing it, you know, we're making an enclosed hem, or I can't think of the words because I'm editing and I'm so out of it, but basically you pin down your scallops like this, and you want to give yourself seam allowance. Pin them onto your fabric. Remember, one side would be interfaced. There would be two pieces of fabric basically, and one is interfaced. So you're facing and then your regular fabric, fashion fabric, or your lining and your fashion fabric depending. And you want to pin the inner corners of your fashion, or of your fabric and your scallops. So it's gonna look like this. Okay. And then you line it up into your, you know, your feed dog. And your needle, you want to make sure will hit just outside of that template. And this was hard. I'm not going to say it was easy because, you know, oh, I'm set on zigzag. That's not what we want. Okay. Let's see. Scoot this over. Okay. So, again, you want to make sure you're giving yourself seam allowance. It also gives you more control to direction your fabric as it goes. Okay, and then we're gonna slip the pin off, hold your fabric, hold your template. It's not perfect really, but you want to give yourself all this extra fabric because your trimming and clipping is going to need fabric. So if you give yourself absolutely no room, it's just going to fall apart, right? Because you're edge sewing at this point. And then you go down into the innermost corner, and then you're going to go like this. And follow it back around, and so on and so forth as you follow your scalloped edge. So I'm going to take that out actually. I sew on a vintage machine. You can see this is Patsy here. Ooh, there goes my cup. This is Patsy here. She's nothing special, and we're not going to be too precious, but here we go. Oh my god, please forgive my absolute messiness with filming this. I am totally trying to use a tripod and trying to be fancy, and it's not working. Pause. And preferably you have somewhat created, I'm stretching this out, but yeah, you've created your scallops that way. And then when you're done, you would clip into as far into this as you could without cutting through your thread, and then you notch around your scallops. When you flip it inside out, you press it, and I top stitched the scallops. And that's how you do the scalloped edge. Okay, again, I don't sew on anything too precious. I like these hardcore vintage machines. Nothing can get them down, and I can work on them myself. But that is how you do your scalloped edge. I also wanted to make a note on sewing the Hollywood dress with the marabou feathers around the wrist. That was torture. I had started it with a regular needle, and it did not go through. My needle was stuck because they have glue that keeps those feathers in that band, that satin band. And so I actually had to order these anti-glue sewing machine needles. They're used for, I guess, quilting appliques or something, but they're called Organ Needles Embroidery Anti-Glue. And I ordered those off of Amazon. And I just wanted to make a note of that because in case you guys were attempting to sew that with your machine, my machine can go through just about any amount of fabric and never gives me a pushback. But trying to get that to sew, it wasn't happening. It would stop my machine. The glue on the needle was horrible. And then in the end, I still ended up having to hand hem most of those edges in, and that hand needle that I was using, the hand sewing needle, was getting stuck in the glue too. So it was absolute torture, bird's nest threads. It was ugly, and I really rescued those hemlines and those cuffs as much as I could. But I just wanted to warn you about that too. If you were going to play with that, they're super fun and they look glamorous and beautiful. So I would say do it. And the scalloped edge, you could probably even do smaller templates for little girls' dresses or anything like that. But yeah, definitely try that little pinning and sewing around it method. Sometimes the tissue gets stuck onto the paper, but you just pull it off. It's really fun. So if you guys end up making something like that, please tag me so I can see. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Okay, hopefully I can get this video to load the way I want it to load, but this is my dress. This was my look for my 1940s dress. It is also giving Dynasty. I'm not gonna lie, these shoulder pads I put in were like late 80s, early 90s shoulder pads for a dolman sleeve like coat, but in the picture, as you saw, they were there. So I just, you know what? I like shoulder pads. I like that strong look. It makes my waist look so itsy bitsy. I don't know. Nope, you can't see it. But anyways, this was a wrap up on wrap dresses. This was 4 different wrap looks. And honestly, at this point in life, I really feel like I am not sewing from necessity. I am sewing from like a challenge, or it's like a competitive sport now. I am competing with myself. I want to, if I see something, I want to make it. I've done it before a couple years ago when I was really like gung-ho back into sewing. I would look at a picture and remake it just to see if I could. And I kind of have that nerve hit again. So yes, definitely subscribe, like, and follow, because who knows what I'm going to make next. Actually, I do know. So come back, because next week I'm going to be uploading a video about what I'm making next and all that stuff. But yeah, I had a lot of fun making all these dresses and doing all these looks. And like I said, now I'm not sewing out of necessity, although I will mend out of necessity and mend everything. I'm literally just challenging myself to see if I can make the things of my, Hollywood dreams. Like if I see it on a 40s movie, 1930s, 40s movie, I want to make it. I want it. I want the Ginger Rogers. I want I want all of it. Who doesn't want that? But yeah, I was joking with my partner saying I think I'm more competitive, like in a competitive sport against myself. I want to see if I can best my old looks. I want to see if I can make sewing like it's fun for me, but that's literally what I'm doing. This fabric was literally in my stash. It's a mystery fabric. I know it's crepe something, but I'm not quite sure what. I think it was donated to me too. The other thing is the scallops. I probably voiceovered and talked about them, but I'll show you guys a little video of how I did them. Not like a video, maybe not. But I did like a template, a paper template. I measured it, and that's how I did them. Maybe I will show you in a video, just because it's hard to explain. You have to see it. But yeah, I hope that this was exciting for you. I hope that the hair looks inspired you to do some easy curl-less, heatless looks that range from decade to decade. Hold on. But like and subscribe. That's my toddler telling me it's time for lunch. I will be back next week with another video. Bear with me. I am gaining momentum on this technology thing. I will learn the vlogging camera and the laptop stuff. Right now, it's still on my phone because it's easier, to be in all honesty. But I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Leave comments and everything below, and I will see you in the next one.